Some breaking news coming in. Going back to our top story, a team of security personnel comprising CRPF and state police personnel have come under an ambush. Reports are that at least 20 personnel have been killed in the attack. 3 bodies have been also recovered. We do not know about the rest of the jawans. We're talking about a team of 40 jawans who were surrounded by a group of Maoists. We are now being told that that figure could be 80 to 90 Maoists who surrounded our jawans and security personnel. This will happen in Chhatisgarh. Well, the latest coming out, we have the Home Minister also coming out and saying that we are awaiting details on this incident that has taken place in Chhatisgarh. 3 bodies already recovered. Well, the Maoists had the vantage point, like our correspondent earlier said, because this area is said to be hilly. We're also being told that as far as the casualty figure is concerned, that could unfortunately go up and rise. The MHA is also obviously involved in finding out what really went wrong. This ambush took place about 2 hours ago is also what we were told. And what we're now being told is that the casualty figure could go up. Remember, this has happened where that encounter, the deadly encounter took place last year in May. The massacre of the Congress leaders, nearly wiping out the entire top establishment of the party in Chhatisgarh. Also, this reminds us of the Dantewara encounter that had taken place. We have Gaurav Sawant now joining us on the phone line. Gaurav, what are the latest details? We do know that there have been casualties and we are fearing more at this point.
I have just spoken to top-level sources in the Chhatisgarh police, and sources have told headlines today that this is a blast-cum ambush operation. It was very well planned. The Maoists had details of the movement of the CRPF contingent, and
yes,
over 150 Maoists are understood to have surrounded these personnel, and that is where first there was a blast that stopped their movement. There were near simultaneous blasts is what sources are telling us, and after that the Maoists opened fire from multiple locations. The CRPF personnel, according to our sources, are still engaging with these Maoists who are numerically far superior than the CRPF contingent, but at this point of time additional resources are being rushed to this area. At the same time, care is being taken that this is not an attempt to draw in the CRPF personnel and draw in additional resources and then there be a bigger encounter. The
Absolutely.
Maoists appear to be well prepared for this operation, and security forces are now launching helicopters in this area to gauge the situation before pushing in additional personnel.
Gaurav, do stay with me. We also have Jugal Purohit joining us live. Jugal, this is an ambush of high magnitude really. We're being told that now there weren't about 80 to 90 but about 150 Maoists who actually surrounded the security personnel. It's a premeditated ambush. We also do know that there are 4 jawans who've already lost their lives, and we're fearing that there might be more.
Well, Vedika, let's just understand what took place out there. There is an area called Tongpal, which is the last post of the Sukma district. From there on starts the Bastar district. Now, from Tongpal is where this party of the battalion number 80 of the CRPF, along with some elements from the state police, as that's a mandatory, situation to have, moved on for an area domination exercise. It was while they were moving that they were actually ambushed, surrounded, in fact, by Maoists, the number of which is not being precisely spoken of right now, but they were, of course, numerically far superior. 40-odd men were surrounded, after which there was a firefight. We must keep in mind that the team of the CRPF was also heavily armed as it was moving for an area domination exercise, and the entire exchange of fire has lasted for almost 2.5 hours, in which, according to the sources I've been speaking to for the last 1.5 odd hours, reinforcements have been sent to that area. The fear is right now, and one can sense it from the tone and tenor in which the police officials and the security forces personnel are talking to me, is that they fear the worst in this situation, even though as of now only 4 bodies have been found. But there is an apprehension which I can sense that this count will go up as the time progresses, as the reinforcements reach, as they actually manage to make their way through. This is an area which is not unknown for an activity of the sort. In only the month of May last year, we had seen a terrible massacre, and this has happened hardly a few more kilometers from there.
Jugal, I will have to interrupt there because I believe we have Mr. Singh on the phone line, also former DG CRPF. Mr. Singh, we're talking about this encounter that is on in Chhatisgarh. We're talking about at least 3 jawans being killed there. There is fear that there could be more casualties, but you've known and you've seen these incidents happen in the past, and we wanted your expertise on really what we do know it's a premeditated attack now. It is an ambush, and we have about 150 Maoists surrounding that area. It's clearly a premeditated attack here, sir.
Well, there have been intelligence inputs lately that, firstly, that Maoists have made no secret of the fact that on the eve of elections they would be stepping up their violent activities. And besides, we were also getting, at least this was there in the media, the Home Ministry had pulled up the paramilitary forces for not showing sufficient aggression and not taking sufficient initiative in their operations against the Maoists. And the results in terms of what they call achievements have been minimal during the last couple of months. So, these are very sensitive areas, and if you lower your guard even for a month or so, and if there is an attitude of complacency, which seems to have been there, the Maoists would take advantage of it. And on the eve of election, there is additional motivation to them to show their teeth, to show that they retain their lethal punch, that they can sort of overwhelm the security forces. This is their motivation, and so the attack is to be seen in that context.
Also, Mr. Singh, we're being told that this area of ambush is very close to the area where the Congress leaders were massacred last year in May. So this is a sensitive area that, like you've also pointed out. So would you say that this was overlooked by the security forces because the intelligence agencies failed to really go ahead and give any input on this?
Well, Darbagh Ghati is a jungle area, you see, and this area, in fact, the whole area is very sensitive. It's difficult to identify a particular place, but the mere fact that this incident has happened at the same location where earlier the Congress convoy was ambushed, it shows that probably this area had gone off the radar of the state government and the security forces, and with the result that even though they were on an area domination exercise, mind you, when you are going on area domination exercise, you are supposed to be well prepared. Yes. And you are supposed to go only along a route and in an area where you think you can establish your dominance. Now, you are going on an area domination exercise and then you get ambushed, which says, number one, it shows that there was no intelligence at all about the presence of the Maoists. And you were caught unawares. If you are caught unawares, that means probably you are not fully prepared. There are so many loose ends. They should have had some prior information about the presence of Maoists in such large numbers in that area. And so there was no intelligence input either from the state government or from their own sources, and the villagers, of course, did not come out with any information. So, it shows bad planning, bad execution.
Mr. Singh, before I let you go, my last question to you is that could there now be a fear or a possibility that now when the reinforcements reach the area, the Maoists could be well prepared for that as well?
Well, generally, what we have seen is that after an ambush and after inflicting casualties, they prefer to withdraw. Instead of taking the security forces, coming in larger numbers and taking them head on, they avoid that.
All right.
They always like to have the element of surprise on their side. Once they have surprised and inflicted casualties, they prefer to withdraw.